I am here at the ballpark in Woodstock, Ontario, getting ready to see my boy play. He plays in about 30 minutes. They're just going through the warm-ups. So, as they go through the warm-ups, I think I will too. I have some videos to talk about, to do, and some horses to talk about. We're back now with the 3-year-olds. Adrenaline Rush. Travis got caught. That was a coin flip situation he was in. I've been there, small field or not. Get away in the 3-hole where you got to sit or come first over, or quarter pull hard on the leader, expecting him to probably let you go. It doesn't always work out, and it certainly didn't the other day, but I could see where he was coming from. Aside from that, the horse just let go horribly and bled quite badly, actually, like a 4 out of 5. So not only is he on the Lasix program, but we had to clean him up real good over the next 2 weeks. So we'll see how Adrenaline Rush is. I suspect on Lasix he'll be an infinitely better horse. You can't bleed. It's not like, we've scoped him before and there hasn't been blood, but for there to be so much, there has to be something going on in that airway at some point, and Lasix should help. First glance, second again the other night. Man, this horse just continues to race good. I know I'm taking a lot of pressure from a lot of clients to keep him and race him in the fall, past the fall into the winter, but I'm not. I just don't see a viable way forward for him. Unless I'm wrong, I will continue to have talks with Mario, but he likely will be entered in the Harrisburg sale. Aglariam was awesome the other night. This time of year, we always get people trying to draw distinctions between two horses. How come Aglariam's not in the mix and talked about being sold, yet first glance is? Well, Trot and Fillies inevitably are worth a lot more than Pacing Geldings on a everything being equal basis. And, Aglariam, I don't think we've even remotely seen her best racing. And first glance will graduate and be a good 4-year-old for wherever he goes. But reaching that saturation point throughout the fall where, he's got a bunch of wins, he's got money put together. At that point, the world gets a lot tougher for first glance, both here in Ontario and across the board. If he can step up, great. But to take that chance means either he can step up into that open type competition or he's a 10 to 12 claimer. That's pretty much it. And at the end of the day, he's worth a lot more than 10 or 12 or even $20,000 right now. So why risk all the money that could be made on a sale just to see if he can do? And he likely won't be racing around here. This is a horse that would probably, go away, B. This is a horse that will likely fit Yonkers real well. Now, B, pretty stupid. Go. This is a horse that would probably fit Yonkers really, 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 really well. Ava just can't help herself. She's swinging Addie too high. Ugh. Ava, careful. Aglariam, it just looked awesome the other night, and I think her best racing is well in the future for her. This could be any kind of 4-year-old, and I am super excited to see what kind of 4-year-old she'll actually be. I'm a Lovely Lady again. She's super saturated. She's going to have probably 4, 5, 6 wins on her card before she gets to the fall. This may be a situation where she is one of the best Buckeye fillies. This may be a situation where we may test the free agency market before she gets to the Buckeye final. She'll never be worth more for quite some time than she would be prior to the Buckeye final. So that's a conversation definitely worth having. Italian Grit. There's not much of a conversation to have about Italian Grit. He is present until he is no longer present. Just a horse. Just an overnight condition claimer. Actually, Travis and Matty Henry live close to here. They're going to come to Ollie's ball game today. So that should be fun. I spoke to Matty and Travis last night. Travis did a good job. You don't realize with the food in the U.S. and especially in Ohio, Travis had packed on the weight in the winter, and I made fun of him, making pig noise and whatever. Just what guys do. And he's lost a ton of weight and looks really, really good. This is actually a nice town. I've never really, my only dealings with Woodstock, Ontario is when the racetrack in Woodstock was open, and it was a bit of a dump, but they went for great money during the slots era, and it was a good place to race. But this is a really cool park, and the town itself is kind of a nice town. So interested to catch up with Travis again with Italian Grit. He's just racing until we sell him, or he gets claimed, or whatnot. Jazzy Judy, probably one of the biggest storylines for me over the next 3 weeks. How fast is she? What can she do? Where did this horse come from? This horse that needed the hobbles tight in her entire life, and then all of a sudden said, you know what? I don't think I need those anymore. And just doesn't. So we're going to qualify her on Wednesday without hobbles on. How fast can she trot? I haven't the foggiest. I don't know. But we're going to find out over the next month or so. She has looked awesome of late. Miss Meringue has not looked awesome for quite a while. Now, somebody asked, why is she still around? We're talking about these other horses. Simply because she's not worth anything. She's not worth remotely what she should be worth. She should be able to do in a condition claimer. Again, she bled going into her last start. We put her on the Lasix program. Is that going to be a dramatic change for her? No, not really. You know, she might be go away, B. She might be a little more consistent and have a little more speed, but just not a super fast horse. But I would like to find a class for her. And truthfully speaking, she does have some residual value as a broodmare. We've talked about this both on the day we bought her as a yearling and throughout her career. One of the breeding farms, two of the breeding farms have actually contacted me about potentially buying her. Now, in this case, what a breeding farm would do would be offer you sale credit. So if one of those breeding farms is was the owner of a horse that we bought at the yearling sale, there may be a discussion to be had about potentially a trade-off. Possible. No guarantees. So Mama Knows Best has had a great year. You know, quietly one of the stronger two. I really thought I'm a Lovely Lady was much better than her. Not a ton better, but better. Definitively better than Mama Knows Best, but I'm not so sure now. Mama Knows Best has turned into a cool customer. She used to be hot and bothered and hard to drive. She gets it now. The first and the second at the fairs was impressive for a number of reasons. Maybe not to you, but it was to me. And she has to do good in this Buckeye to make the Buckeye final. Make no mistake, she's going to have to be 1, 2, or 3 to make the Buckeye final, I think, in the final one in Delaware. My Jazz, a lot of questions with My Jazz, and I can't answer any of them. My Jazz, she'll have 2 starts. One in the fair coming up, and one in the Buckeye coming up. I believe the Buckeye coming up. What happens in those races? Now, she's going to be short for the first one. We're doing our best to tighten her up, but she is getting a lot of pool time in. How she looks coming out of these 2 races will really define what our options are moving forward. And obviously, you can tell I'm very selective of what I'm saying and how I'm saying it because I don't have any definitive answers for you, but I should over the next couple of weeks. No free lunch again. Heal up, get him back in the winter. Should be a lot of fun with this guy in the wintertime. Northern Blizzard, Jason said he was better. Had the vet look at him. Vet said, I think left stifle, left hock, and then obviously that right foot he jumped on is still bothering him. So something festering underneath there. I did have Tim look at the horse. Tim Betts look at the horse. He doesn't believe there is. He thinks it's just a matter of, there was some damage done when he jumped on it. And every horse is a little different. Plus, I think Northern Blizzard can be a little girl sometimes. My apologies. Don't mean to be sexist. You know what I mean by that. His pain threshold sometimes is a little diminished from the other horses. We'll see how Northern Blizzard is. I suspect we'll get a real good training mile into him. Depending on how he looks this week, we may get a schooler into him or a hard training trip middle of the week. We will see. Perfect Records getting very close to being ready to go again. Jason was happy with him on Saturday when I spoke to him. Rose Run Why Not trained awesome in preparation for what I thought was going to be an impressive Non-Winners 2 race. Instead, she drew the 8-hole in the... Listen, you're going to get killed if you keep it up. Go away. It's your last warning. So Rose Run Why Not 8-hole again. I will not be getting way 8 with her. Well, I'll probably go out of there a little bit with her and see what happens. So and Sue will train hard or school. No, she's going to school on Wednesday. She'll be going to Delaware right after that. Sweet Ambition's a winner yesterday. Good job by Anthony Hahn. Good job by Cindy. Filly looked good. Very happy with her. Tanzanite Tricks, a little flat the other night. Scoped her a little bit of mucus. I suspect she might have washed out on the ride down. Having her at the Meadows, I believe it didn't dawn on me as much now as much then as it does now. Probably a feather in our cap to have her right at the track. She does wash out a little bit, just a little antsy when you get her on the trailer. So we'll see how Tanzanite Tricks races this week. I know she's 5-2. I'm driving her. We'll see how she does this week. Tipsy and Dixie's Indigo. This is a filly that will, another one, maybe the conversation about potentially selling her before the grassroots semifinals and finals. Maybe a conversation to have also. Very similar. She's a better horse than I'm a Lovely Lady, but a very similar situation with those fillies. You want to be able to maximize what they're worth. With all that money and all those wins, there is nowhere for her to race for the most part. She would have to race an open company or a claimer of some sort, or race in the B tracks against horses and geldings. It is not going to be a situation where we are going to keep Tipsy and Dixie. So racing her in the final grassroots and then potentially putting her up for sale even before the semifinals may be the best way forward. We'll see. Walk on the Moon. Again, I'll speak to Mario throughout the fall. This isn't a horse I necessarily had earmarked to sell, but at the same time, he doesn't have a ton of money in wins. He's got like 2-3 wins, maybe 50,000-60,000 made. This is the type of horse that's worth a lot of money for people from Yonkers looking for a horse. So we are going to turn a lot of these sophomores over, unless I'm certain they can do as 4-year-olds, unless I'm super excited about racing them at 4, then we likely won't. And that has to be the way moving forward. We just can't hold on to horses hoping we have a place to race. It's just a recipe for disaster. We will be able to pick horses out that will be able to race as 4-year-olds. Every year we keep 3, 4, 5 of them, and I think that's the best way to go right now for us. You know, we're trying to find our way forward as the stable.ca, and I think understanding that there needs to be turnover on some of these sophomores that we don't really have a place to race full time makes all the sense in the world. I haven't made my mind up with Walk on the Moon yet, but we will see over the next coming couple of weeks and maybe even month. Horse I absolutely made my mind up with is Walk on the Moon, or War We Welcome. She is leaving. She's on gate. She'll stay on gate. She'll stay on gate, and we'll continue to race her over the next month or so. Very happy that Carmen's got her moving forward. Just very hopeful that she continues and puts some sort of consistency for a horse that is probably one of the most inconsistent horses in planet Earth. I really hope she starts to put together some consistency now. This is 2 starts in a row, maybe 3 that she's raced well. 3, I believe. Let's keep it going. And then Won My Heart Hanover. No favorites here. She'll likely be in Harrisburg also. Good-looking filly, decent pedigree, good lifetime mark, put some money away. Both worth money as a racehorse as a 4-year-old and as a potential broodmare also. To somebody, we can't keep all the horses. Can't keep them all and breed them all. We have a lot now, and we are going to be breeding horses like potentially Compass Rose DC and Path of Totality. Just can't keep them all. So, another horse, Won My Heart Hanover, will be heading out. So that is a very honest, very blunt, very realistic look at our 3-year-old section of horses. I talked about the age sources. We'll be back and talk about the stables in a little while.